Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today we'll talk about how the children of Ismail alayhi salam took charge of Kaaba. As we learn that after Ismail alayhi salam, Jurhum tribe, which is one of the Qahtani tribes, or from Yemen, they became in charge of Kaaba. And some people have been asking this question, that is Jurhum linked to India? No, they are not linked to India. Jurhum is a tribe from Yemen. They are original Arab tribes. Some historians are of the view that they are from the children of Sam bin Nuh. They are the Semites. And these people, in search for better settlement, move out of Yemen. And as they reached the outskirts of Makkah, they were trying to barely make their living when they found a source of water. So they came and settled where Ismail alayhi salam and his mother Hajra were settled. So Jurhum became in charge of Kaaba after Ismail alayhi salam, maybe a generation or two. And we also learn how Jurhum lost its leadership to Banu Khuza'ah, which is another Yemeni tribe. And Banu Khuza'ah left from Yemen, and they are indeed one of the Qahtanis. If Jurhum is doubtful if they're Qahtanis or not, for Khuza'ah, without a doubt, they are from Banu Qahtan. And Banu Qahtan has several different branches like Banu Khuza'ah, Juzam, and similarly Aus and Khazraj. All of these are different branches of Banu Qahtan from Yemen. So Banu Khuza'ah, with the help of Bani Bakr, displaced Jurhum and took charge of Makkah. Now the children of Ismail alayhi salam, which are the children of Adnan afterwards, which are Banu Adnan, they were dispersed all over. They were not in charge. They didn't have any say in the decision making. And over the period of time, children of Adnan spread outside of the Makkah in different places. And some of the children of Adnan, which is through the branch of Fahr, which is called, Fahr is the person who is called Quraysh. So the children from Fahr, which are called Quraysh, were dispersed closer to Makkah in proximity, but yet not settled in the city of Makkah. Back in those days, Makkah was such that the Baytullah and its surrounding area was inhabitable, means they would build the housing after leaving some land, and then they would start building the housing. That's how the settlement was during the times of Jurhum and was during the time of Banu Khuza'ah. Now, from the children of Ismail alayhi salam, from the ancestors of Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, if you start going up, it is Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, the son of Abdul Muttalib, the son of Hashim, the son of Abd Manaf, the son of Qusay, the son of Kilab. So let's start with Kilab for today. Inshallah, we will go above Kilab as well, Murrah and some of the other ancestors. So Kilab, who is known by the kunya of Abu Zuhra. The reason is, Kilab has two sons. One is Qusay and one is Zuhra. Qusay is the ancestor of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Zuhra is the ancestor of Amina, the mother of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So look at it like this, that the father of the Prophet Muhammad and the mother of the Prophet Muhammad are the descendants of Kilab. One through his son Qusay and another one through his son Zuhra. So it is Amina, the daughter of Wahab, Amina bint Wahab, and then from the Wahab goes all the way to Zuhra. And here on the other side is Abdullah, the son of Abdul Muttalib bin Hashim bin Abd Manaf, and then goes all the way to Qusay. So Amina, the daughter of Wahab, and Wahab is the son of Abd Manaf. And Abd Manaf is the son of Zuhra, and Zuhra is the son of Kilab. So this is how, in 5 generations. On the other side, Abdullah, the son of Abdul Muttalib, the son of Hashim, the son of Abd Manaf, the son of Qusay, and the son of Kilab. So I just wanted to explain to you how the father and the mother of the Prophet ﷺ has a common ancestor who is Kilab. Now, Kilab is not his real name. And some people say that his name was Hakim. And others said his name was Urwah. And he was famous by the name of Kilab because he used to hunt and he used to hunt with dogs, and he had a whole pack of dogs, and he used to hunt very frequently. So in Arabic tradition, when you are famous for something, they give you that kind of a name. So that's why he was given the name Kilab. So Kilab died when Qusay was still very young. But Qusay's older brother, Zuhra, was maybe in his mid-teens. So Qusay's mother married a man who used to live very close to the Syrian province. The mother of Qusay was Fatima, the daughter of Sa'd, Fatima bint Sa'd. And when she married this man, Rabi'a bin Haram bin Dabbah, from one of the regions which was close to the Syria, and the name of the region was Azra. So what this man decided to do after the marriage, he said, I will take Qusay with me because he's younger, but I will not take his older brother Zuhra. He can stay in Makkah as he is grown up, and he can make his own living and stay for some time with his family, but I will only take Qusay with me. Now, Qusay was not born by the name of Qusay. Qusay was rather born as Zayd. Zayd was his name. And later on, Qusay basically means somebody who is far away. That's why Masjid al-Aqsa is called Aqsa, because it is closer to our hearts, but it is farther at a distance from the rest of the world. So that's why Aqsa means something farther. Similarly, Qusay, somebody who is far from his homeland, because he grew up and became a teenager near Syria, and he was originally from Makkah. So that's way up north. So that's why he was commonly known by the name of Qusay. So his real name was Zayd. Now, one day what happens is, now this is one of the Yemeni tribe. Just remember that. His stepfather is from a Yemeni tribe of Banu Quda'ah. Not Banu Khuza'ah, Banu Quda'ah. So Banu Quda'ah, one of the teenager of Banu Quda'ah, as Qusay was playing outside his house one day, told him, what are you doing in our village or our town? You don't even belong here. You have nobody here. Why didn't you go back to where you came from? And this really, really hurt Qusay, and Qusay came to his mother and said, I mean, emotionally hurt like that. So, do I really not belong here from here? Do I belong someplace else? So that's the time when his mother explained to him that, yes, you are from a very noble family. You're from the family of Adnan, who is a descendant of Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, and you came with me this far away because your father died, and I married this man. And Qusay said, I want to go back to my hometown, my country. And she said, well, you are from Makkah. And he said, I want to go to Makkah now. I can't stay here anymore. And the mother said, well, wait for the time when the pilgrims go the route of Makkah, and then you can go with one of the caravans. And so that's exactly what happens when it was time for a near Hajj, when different groups or caravans started moving towards Makkah. That's when Qusay joined them, and he reached Makkah. And a lot of these details, I have this whole pile of books here from where some of these details have been extracted. I have Sirah ibn Hisham, Sirah Halabiyya Siyar, Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya. Then I've taken some notes from Tabqat ibn Sa'd, Volume 1, and some of the other places where you can find some of these details, like Muhammad Rasulullah is another book, page number 11, and Bulughul Arab, volume number 2. All of these different books have some of these things. Now, while his mother, Fatima bint Sa'd, who got married to this man, Rabi'a, while they were in Azra, Qusay had another brother, and his name was Razah, and he plays a very important role as we move forward. So Razah bin Rabi'a was born out of this wedding. He has a common mother, but different father with Qusay, and Rabi'a had other wives through him. He had several sons and daughters. So somehow, Qusay managed to come to Makkah. Initially, he stayed with his brother Zuhra, who by this time has grown into a very, successful business person, had a housing and stuff like that. So Qusay stayed with him for some time till Qusay was of an age where he could establish himself. So he started establishing himself and, as a business person. And Qusay became extremely influential in the Meccan society, even though this was the time when Mecca was ruled by Banu Khuza'ah. Even though at that time Qusay became extremely influential, he was economically sound, he was wealthy, he had a say, people look up to him. Let me put it this way. And his family background, of course, played a very important role in this whole process. So what he did, he approached the leader of Makkah at that time, from Banu Khuza'ah. His name was Hulayl bin Habshiyah. And he asked Hulayl that, I want to marry your daughter. And some say her daughter's name was Hubba. And he couldn't refuse Qusay, because a man, stature of Qusay, it's hard to refuse. So he gave his daughter's hand in marriage to Qusay, and Qusay got married. And through this woman, he had several sons like Abdul Dar, Abd Manaf, Abdul Uzza, and Abd. These are the different sons of Qusay. So Abdul Dar ibn Qusay, Abd Manaf ibn Qusay, Abdul Uzza ibn Qusay, and Abd ibn Qusay. And Sayyida Khatija radiallahu ta'ala anha, the first wife of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is the descendant of Qusay from Abdul Uzza. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the descendant of Qusay through Abd Manaf. And if you know about the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you might have also heard about the Banu Abdul Dar. And we will also talk about that when we go a little bit deeper into the ancestors of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, closer to his times. When we talk about Abd Manaf and some of the other people, we will talk about Abdul Dar, as there is a role that they play in this whole process. But for now, just so that you understand, these are the four sons. So when Hulayl was getting old, he gave charge and responsibility of all the religious affairs and other affairs to his daughter Hubba. Now Hubba, being a woman, she said, I cannot take care of these things by myself. So her brother Abu Ghabshan stepped forward and said, oh, I will take care of the outside affairs. And he wasn't even, this was an uninvited guest. And Abu Ghabshan used to be drunk most of the time, and he wasn't a person that was deserving to be in that position that he wanted to be in. And Qusay realized that. So Qusay once approached Abu Ghabshan and said, Abu Ghabshan, what would it take you for you to give me the leadership position of this place? And he agreed to on the fact that if he can be given a musical instrument and a huge supply of alcohol, then he is willing to give away this leadership position of Kaaba. And that deal was made, and Qusay took the leadership position from Abu Ghabshan, and Abu Ghabshan handed it over to Qusay. And when Qusay came out in public and said that Abu Ghabshan has decided to give me this leadership position, and I am the key bearer of Kaaba, and I have all the key positions of Kaaba, I am sort of kind of leader of Makkah, Banu Khuza'ah revolted against him. And that was a massive deal at that time. So when Banu Khuza'ah revolted against him, they were not alone. They had other tribes with them as well. Like, for example, Bani Bakr was with them. And there's a great detail of which other tribes were with them. But anyway, so at this time, Qusay wrote to his brother who was in Syria, Arzah bin Rabi'ah, who was half-brother of Qusay, common mother, different fathers. Arzah, along with his other brothers from his other's wife, and his tribesmen, he brought an entire army into Makkah to support and defend Qusay. And there was a massive battle between the supporters of Qusay and his family members from Syria. They were on one side, and on the other side it was Jurhum and Bani Bakr and some other tribes. And this battle went on for a few days. Several people were killed. The battle remained undecisive. So they approached a man by the name of Amr bin Auf bin Ka'b, and he was put as a mediator or a judge between this particular incident. So he said, okay, I will I will finish the dispute between the two of you tomorrow. There are different accounts of how he finished the dispute. Some people say that what he did was he said, well, whatever people you have killed from the side of the Qusay, Banu Khuza'a and Banu Bakr would have to pay the money, which is the diya, in the amount that was decided in those times. However, Qusay and his party wouldn't have to give any diya for anybody who died on your side. And also, Qusay will remain the leader of Makkah because he has all the proper documentation. But other people are of the view that that would become very unjust. So the proper thing would be that when he said to them, موعدكم فناء الكعبة غدا, come to me next day in the morning. فلما اجتمعوا قام عمر بن عوف وقال, Amr ibn Auf stood up and he gave a speech and he said, whoever died in this battlefield died. Now, let's forget about it. Let's from now on that Qusay is the one who is the true leader of Kaaba, and all of the things belong to him. And that has been mentioned in several books like Asira Nabawiyya by Ahmed bin Zaini Dahlan on page 23. And you find some of this record on Sibl al-Huda al-Rashad, volume 1, page 324. And again, all of these books that I told you have bits and pieces of some of this information as well. And again, today I cannot cover everything about Qusay. I'm only covering some of the topics related to Qusay. So this is how Qusay became in charge of Makkah, and this is how the leadership position of Makkah came back into the lineage of Ismail alayhi salam through Adnan, from the children of Adnan. And Qusay, after taking the position, he then made arrangements to displace Khuza'a outside of the Makkah, and then he went around looking for different tribes of Quraysh, and he brought them to the Makkah and he settled them here. Now, he could have settled them in the outskirts of Makkah, but what he decided to do was, there was such a massive land that was left untouched between where the Kaaba is and the Mataf is and the housing. So he used some of that land to create settlements for the Quraysh. And he divided the Quraysh in two groups. These 12 or some tribes that he divided the Quraysh into, he's put some of the housing on the mountains, which is called the Quraysh Batah. So they were on the Abtah, were going to be on the higher position. And Zawahir Quraysh were more on the land position. The mountain settlement were more of richer Quraysh compared to the land settlement. So this is how he divided them up. He started their settlements, and then he made some other arrangements, which inshallah we'll talk about next time, as to what arrangements he made after he took position and he became in charge of Mecca. But just so that you know, this is how the leadership went back to the children of Ismail alayhi salam. And then there were some problems in this matter, as Imam Halabi reports that while they were building this housing, there were some problems in terms of cutting the trees. And Quraysh were extremely reluctant cutting these trees. And the two settlements, the Batah and the Zawahir settlements, and then Qusay gave a ruling when it came to the settlement that if the tree needs to be cut to build the house, cut the tree. But if you can avoid it, then avoid it. But don't avoid it all the time. You make a sane decision based on how everything needs to be. So this is how, when the Quraysh's settlements were done, as mentioned but in different books over here, that Qusay ordered that each one of the tribe to have their houses main door should face towards Kaaba, and all the housings will be built such that the housing of a tribe should be next to each other, and we will build a big door from that point coming into the Kaaba. So there were doors that were built for different tribes. So for example, the Bab Bani Shayba and some of the other doors that we know of, they were built from those times. And that was the reason of these doors. And even now, if you go into Mecca and if you enter Haram, there are doors. And the doors have names. So this is exactly how it was back then, that each tribe had their main door through which they would enter into Kaaba. And at that time, there was no wall around Kaaba. It was just one land and there was a Kaaba in the middle. So we'll talk more about some of the other details of what happened during the times of Qusay, but that's for another time, insha'Allah ta'ala. And remember that not all Arabs, as some people are mistaken by that fact that they think all Arabs are descendants of Ismail alayhi salam. No, Jurhum were Arabs and they came and settled in Makkah. And Ismail alayhi salam married into them, and that's how the children of Ismail alayhi salam, they became the Arab al-Musta'araba. And Jurhum, which were the pure Arab, they come from the Yemen. And some people believe that they are from the children of Qahtan. Even if they are or they are not, it doesn't matter. But Qahtan, it is also not true that all the Arabs are either the children of Adnan or Qahtan. This is also not true. There are Arabs who are neither from Banu Qahtan, nor from Banu Adnan, nor from Banu Ismail. So Arab tribes have been in this region for a very, very long time in different parts of it. Yet, yes, some of these tribes from Yemen were in the leadership position for a very, very long time. Like, for example, I believe it was the grandson or great-grandson of Qahtan by the name of Saba that established the kingdom of Saba. So Saba is the name of a man, not a woman. And the queen that was at the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam, her name was not Saba. It was the kingdom of Saba. Her name was Bilqis. So, just so that you know, a little bits of pieces in here and there from the history. But we'll catch you next time. Till then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.